Stop it. You're so funny. Morning, Pia. You're dark and you're muted. Now you're not,
Sorry,
muted, not dark. How are you?
I caught you putting on your lipstick. I love it.
Uh-huh. Gary gives me a bad time all the time. He's like, your bottom lip looks great, Gina. I'm like, I'm getting there. Shut up.
No, I am really, 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 really shocked to know that you are a grandmother.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I thought you were just a teenage mom, like a mom of teenagers.
I love
So,
you very, very much. I almost have a teenage grandson. So
wow,
I
you
know,
started
not quite.
really early.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
Coming
right
up on it though.
morning.
So I know. And my husband's 7 years younger than me. So, and it's my second marriage. It's my only last marriage. There you go. Anyway, when he found out he was going to be a grandpa, how old were you when you found out you were going to be a grandpa? 40, maybe?
Yeah.
Somewhere right around 40, 41, maybe somewhere in there. He found out he was going to be a grandpa and he was like, no. And I'm like, there's not much you can do about it. It's coming.
Yeah.
But
So
you know what, though? I look at it this way, having two teenage sons of my own. And I started later when I had them. I had a girlfriend that had hers. It started at 23 and she was like, ding, ding. And I was like, whoa, wasn't on my radar at 23. I started mine at 33. I called her immediately and said, now I know why you started at 23. You had more energy and you could keep up. And I'm beginning to feel the same way by the time I become a grandmother. If that's what, or whatever they're going to call me, if that's what it's going to be, I'm like, I hope I have enough energy to keep everybody.
I
I
started
think you're
in
perfectly
between
positioned,
two.
Gina.
Oh, pardon me, honey?
I said, I think you're perfectly positioned then. You're in a good
I
spot.
started at 28 with my first, and then my darling daughter, I had it, I think I was 30 or almost 30 when I had her. Anyway, so waited a bit for them. All my friends were having kids at 23 though, Liz, just like you. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them were. And I
I
was
didn't get married till I was 29. I had my first one at 33 and I thought I was all right. Now I'm like, I don't take enough vitamins to keep up with these fellas. My goodness.
and I am ashamed to admit this, and I will admit it, but it's not like a high point in my life. At 23, I decided, all right, you should just test the waters and see if you're ready for this. So we got a puppy, and it's not really, I wanted the puppy, but my ex brought home a puppy, and I'm like, all right, have a puppy. 2 weeks later, I was like, I got to give the puppy away. And we did. We found a good home and everything for the puppy. We didn't like turn it in or anything. We found a good home. But I'm like, I can't deal with a puppy.
But that's a good decision. At least you knew that at the time. My head was, I want to travel the world. I don't want responsibility for anything but myself right now. So I'm not trying to be in that. I knew I wanted it eventually, but not right then. Man, that was early anyway.
Yeah,
It's
me
all
too.
good.
22, just much later. Much
Exactly.
later. Yeah. When I could handle pets, then I was like, all right, you can graduate to human pets and you'll be fine, but
And
there you
don't
go.
feel bad. My brother who lives in New York City has a cat that he's had forever. His friend was leaving the city. This was way before COVID, and he had a Dalmatian puppy. My brother's like, oh yeah, I'll take the puppy, no problem. Didn't realize the energy of a Dalmatian puppy. The cat's looking at the puppy like, what is happening? My brother probably hung on to that puppy for 2 weeks and then was like, I gotta find it a good home, because the energy of the animal, he's like, nope. And he doesn't have any kids. I mean, he's got a cat. I get it. But I'm just kind of like, really? What made you think a Dalmatian puppy was going to be a good idea for you?
Don't know.
Living in the city, this was like 10 years ago. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. But anyway,
All
all good.
right. Now that our shameful episode is over, let's go with some good news. What do we got? Who's got something?
I'm going to go take pictures this morning, at least a couple, because the
Yay.
photographer isn't going to be there until the 17th, and I'll be on vacation. And if I do go coming soon, I want to at least have a couple.
We used to, way back when, we used to make fun of people that took pictures with their cell phone because it would fisheye. I'm old school, so it would fisheye, or they would purposely fisheye their photos. And I'm like, look, it's a round house. Look, it's another round house. And I always mocked people that took photos with their phone, and some of the agents were so crappy back then. Literally, it looked like they drove past the house as blurry. I was like, what the hell is that? Crooked. But I just took a photo 2 nights ago of my daughter wanted to see part of my backyard, and I was blown away by the iPhone at night. So that's a picture of my backyard. It is pitch dark outside, and that's part of my backyard. That's night on what is this, a Mini 11, I think. I was like, all right, you got to take pictures. I mean, I guess I'm not going to look down my nose at iPhone photos anymore, or phone photos anymore. But seriously,
I'm gonna take my 35mm camera, and I'm gonna take an extra lens, and it's a wide angle lens because that's what they recommend for.
It is. Greg used to
but-
do my photos for me with his 35 with the wide angle thing.
Yeah.
So
So,
he's a photographer.
and I can do them,
Hmm?
but I don't have the capability to do the mapping.
lighting?
The mapping
Matterport
and
camera.
the Matterport or the 360. I don't have that either. And I don't have a drone.
You don't have a drone?
I don't have a drone. I know. I should be able to do that on the bike, right? Just,
Are you Harry Potter?
hey, that would be cool. I'd like that.
All right, let's hear some more good news, y'all.
I'm making progress on the 30-day challenge. So I'm not gonna hit the 30 days, but hey, as long as I keep going, that's my goal.
Aim into that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll cheat every couple of days, maybe stay online, maybe the whole day, and do extra things. I don't know. We'll see. I still have like 20 days.
I read a really good thing. Did I read it? Yes, I did. Someone, or I found, God knows, whatever, a thing about when you have ADHD. And it was just a bunch of serious and funny, but some serious stuff with ADHD. And one of the things was, they said, you are never going to be consistent. What you can be is you can keep on going back to it, and it can be persistent, but you're never going to be a consistent person. And I loved that because I set up systems and I want to be so consistent and all that. And I really don't have consistency as much as I have persistency, if that's a word, and it is now because I just say it with confidence. Persistency. That's right. Now it's a word. All right. So that's what I have, and I will keep on hammering away at something. And the other meme that made me, I read these at night, was laughing my butt off of me, and it was ridiculous. I'm sure it's disturbing my husband and everybody else, but whatever. And another one was, I have 3 work days. That's it. A day where I don't get anything done, a day where I get 4 hours of work done, but it could be random at any time of the day, and a day where I get 40 hours of work done in 8 hours flat. And I'm like, yep, that's my work days. I love it. You're on mute, sweetie.
You've been quoted.
See, now it's totally official. All
Well,
right.
and I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, keep going, PF, because you putting the challenge out last week motivated me to relook at the program as well, because I need to get on track. Although, 30 days was, I'm like, okay, that's ambitious. I could try it. I'm like, I'm just gonna just do it. Like, it just wasn't even a matter of, putting a 30-day, 60-day thing on it for me. I'm like, I'm just gonna make it part of one of my daily tasks, something in that space every day. And it doesn't matter if it's looking at the training video or, making sure I call 10 people, or I'm just gonna, and if I only hit 5, then I only hit 5 people that day. It was just a matter of committing to doing something in that space every day. And I'm working it with the person I onboarded onto the team, because she's like, I need an accountability partner. I'm flying out all over the place over here. I'm like, okay, well then let's do this together. So you keep going. That's the goal.
All right. Thank you, Liz.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, what other good news we got down there? We got Bree. Yes.
Good news. Good news.
Son has his shoes.
I what?
Your son has his shoes.
My sons have their shoes. My ex-husband made sure they brushed their teeth and their hair.
That much, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God, he's a piece of work. And what? Oh, I've got my real estate budget slim.
Whoa, congratulations. Lean and mean.
I've got my personal finance lean and mean. So we started cutting out subscriptions and, you know, like had a hard conversation with my kids. I was like, we're going lean and mean on everything.
Nice. Nice.
Very
If
good.
you guys haven't read Shift, it was built for a time like this. They knew the market was shifting from a fabulous market in 05-06, where the Clinton administration had passed a lot of laws that said that you had to bring more availability for real estate loans. And so it really opened up the market, and the market took off like a rocket. And if you could fog a mirror, pretty much you could get a loan. And so the housing market went crazy busy. And then all the crazy loans came through, and so everything tanked. And that's right when Shift was written. So it's about lead generating, running lean and mean, all that kind of good stuff. It has one of the best pages on open houses that I have ever seen. It's just a single page on an open house. Hang on 1 second, let me see. I might actually have it marked in here. And if I'm worth my salt, I do have it marked in here. So we shall see if I'm worth my salt or not. And while I'm double checking my saltiness, who has something good or who has some challenges? Haha, salty. So this is a page on open houses. And what I love about it is it's a super simple graphic. It's page 71. I think I'd retain that after all these years. It's a super simple graphic that talks about sign on the yard. All right, level 1, level 2, sign on the yard with balloons and riders. And it keeps on going down through each level till you get to sign on the yard with balloons and riders, directional signs on all key corners, flyers the week before, email invites posted up on websites, go invite the neighbors, 100 minimum, get on the phone that morning, remind everybody, hold 4 other open houses in the area in various price ranges. And it's just a super, again, simple graphic for open houses. But anyway, Shift is all on running lean and mean. I recommend it if you haven't read it. Aha, the good stuff. And then mark your pages, because there's some good stuff that you'll go back to, and then you can look. It's also really good as you're talking to other agents. If you have some stuff marked in a book like this, or you know that, or you're talking to another agent that has the book and you're like, they're talking about open house and you're like, go to page 71, which I used to be able to do, but I've lost it, baby. But it's still marked. So, all right.
Speaking of open houses, can I ask a quick question?
No, that's not what this meeting is about.
Okay, good. I just thought of this as you guys were talking, and I kind of think that it could be like pushing that edge. I'm going to be on vacation, right? So I won't be here to do all those things to prep for an open house the way you're supposed to do. You think it would be wrong to send out a postcard to everybody in the neighborhood saying, you know, keep your eyes open, there will be an open house sometime in the near future, and leave it like that? Because of the coming soon, all the coming soon guidance is why I'm asking the question.
How would you guys word that if you wanted something that was kind of clever and kind of cool, that was a coming soon open house, when you don't really have a date? Any ideas on that?
I just want to know if it's legal to do something like that. I mean, I'll be glad to hear any cleverness, because then I don't have to think of it, but
Well, when's your listing going active?
I don't have 100%, but I think at the end of the month.
Oh, well, hang on. I wouldn't do anything unless I had signed paperwork. Do you have fully signed paperwork?
As far as I know, you can't do signed paperwork until you have dates with all that stuff.
Well, Liz, you're in Virginia too. Can you put something on MLS with the owner to not list or change the date or?
I think you need to have a date of potential sale because there's a window and I don't know what it is for the coming soon.
Well,
You
with the
can-
coming soon, it's 14 days. I know that.
Yeah, but I think you do have to have a list, a date of.
Can
And
you adjust it though?
But
Can-
I've done it and done an amendment.
Exactly.
Oh,
Like
right,
I set a date
that
in the
might be the way.
future, and then right before that date, I did an amendment to change the
Extending it.
date.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So you have it. So we always got our listing signed. We had our date that we were going to go live. But if they were freaking out, and I told them this, I'm like, well, you know, what if they were that kind of person, I'm like, relax. We just signed a piece of paper that says you're going to extend it out. You're not going to go live until this day. And if we have to, we'll cancel
yeah.
the listing. If the MLS was like, I'm like, fine, I'll cancel the listing and then we'll relist. I'm like, you know, it's just paperwork.
yeah,
So
Well, the
Hmm.
client's house is probably they're gonna probably drop out of the contract that they got in Pennsylvania because of the inspection that happened. And there's a lot. There really is. And so I get that, you know,
mhm.
but that puts pressure on this end the opposite way again.
Were you thinking of publishing the address of the listing?
No, I was
Okay,
gonna-
good.
I was gonna make sure I didn't do anything like that, just in the neighborhood.
Well, if you're just gonna do it in the neighborhood and I had something signed on some level,
Mhm.
oh, okay. What I think, is there somebody that if you had everything all addressed and ready to go, stamped and everything, that they could pop them in the mail while you were gone, if necessary?
Mm. No, because I'm not ready. I gotta take that stuff with me.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna pop it in the mail from wherever you are.
I may have to because I'm not ready. I'm supposed to, I have such a long list between now and tomorrow morning to be ready to go out the
Oh
door.
my God, it's tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So,
You know, how do you guys feel about it? Because I know how I feel about it. You're leaving tomorrow.
Cancel the vacation.
sorry,
Wrong
this
answer.
time I'm not doing that. I mean, and I got reamed out yesterday by that buyers that I mentioned on the call last night.
Yeah,
For some reason, he's been adverse to giving me proof of funds. And I had a feeling that that was the case. But it's a cash sale. He's been making excuses.
Yeah,
Why,
that's what they do. They blow you off and make excuses. Right.
why he hasn't been giving me, and then the last thing he said to me was that he's following the contract, and if it's something that's needed and it's not given in writing, then he's just following the contract. And that and I said, even our brokerages need it. You know, you need to have proof of funds. And you know, this is all text, right? I hate text. And I said, well, the last thing I said to him, and he told me I needed to talk to his attorney from here on out if I have questions.
The buyer told you to talk to his attorney. And
Yes,
it's your buyer.
yes.
okay, then he's
Yeah.
a problem. You need to, he's a
That's
problem.
that's a huge problem. That is, are you in contract? You're not in contract,
They're in
right?
contract.
You
We're
are
in
in contract.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I responded to that. I CC'd his attorney. I said, I have no problem, you know, talking to your attorney if you have questions. That's not an issue. I said, however, I said, maybe it will help you understand this a little bit better. I said, if you were going to finance this property, the bank would have provided a proof of funds that you qualified for that loan. I said, that in essence is the same thing. There is no bank in this case, it's cash. Therefore, you need to provide proof that you can actually buy this property. Maybe that will help you understand better. And that's the shortened version, but I then copied his attorney to it.
So if it were me and I was in this situation, I'm gonna highly encourage you to pop into the broker room. I know you're running late.
Right.
No, not late, but I know you're time crunch. I would pop into the broker room. I would make sure that if I stayed in contract with this person and I don't, that's up to you on what direction you want to go with that. I would talk to the broker. I would do whatever the broker says to do. That's number one. Number two, everything from that point forward would be documented in writing. Like I would not have verbal conversation if I stayed in
Come off
contract
the
with that
text,
person.
come off the text with them. Talk to your broker, like Gina said, come off the text with them, put everything in writing and draw your bright line. If he cannot understand why proof of funds would be needed in this situation, there, he's hiding something, or he's resistant, he's hiding something. Something's awry on the water. And I'm only saying this because it happened to me in experience also. And I said, this is what's going to happen. We need this documentation or I'm terminating this relationship because I'm not willing to get engaged in whatever drama they're trying to pull up on the other side, thinking they've got leverage because they're all cash or whatever. I don't even know. I don't want to know. And I'm happy to talk to the attorneys with it because that doesn't scare me either. But I just draw my bright line in terms of where my energy is with all of this and kind of make determinations that way in my sense. If they're resistant to it, there's something wrong. It should
Well,
not
that's-
be a resistant activity. It's a normal part of the process, you know, in the whole scheme.
Yeah, and in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, no problem, blah, 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 right from the offer time. But we're under contract, it's been accepted. Tom was gracious enough to say, you know, that's fine because of the situation, you know, with this being inherited funds, that if he needs a little while to get that, then that's fine. But, you know,
They still need to verify the source of those funds and where they came from, the inheritance and all of that. So, I mean,
well,
I
he
don't know what
finally,
the
he
issue is.
didn't give me that source of funds, but he finally sent a statement yesterday of this account with the amount, but that was after all of this conversation, except for that last, me trying to explain to him why it's necessary. Because I've told him before, I don't need your account number. I don't need your total amounts. I need proof that you have funds to purchase this property.
Your name and a dollar amount,
Yep, and
That's it.
some format,
by a third party person. You know,
right?
at first I thought he was avoiding, and I said, you know, get on a 3-way call with me because it's supposed to be in a, I'll just say IRA with investment company, you know,
Mhm.
that it transferred over. It was
Mm-hmm.
and then he made a song and dance and he couldn't do that. And it was in process of being transferred to the bank. Now there's this statement from the bank, finally. And, you know, it's not much more than the amount of the sale, but at that point, I don't care.
That's fine. It's just the amount. Out of curiosity, and this is just pure me being snot bucket person. Can you tell when the money was deposited?
I think so, yeah.
I would
Yeah.
just wonder if it lines up with this
No.
story. Okay,
It-
all right. Yeah,
It's close enough within the time frame, but yeah, it's
I
there.
would definitely get on the line with the broker, and then whatever the broker tells you to do, go do it. Period. That's the way that you keep
Yeah.
yourself safe. If you ever get your bet thrown into any court at all, it's always, I did exactly what the broker told me to do. And it's their license on the line more so than yours, especially because if anything ever happens, they're always going to try and go and sue the deepest pocket. And I got to tell you, EXP's pocket's way deeper than ours,
Oh yeah, mine for sure.
way deeper. So that's how you keep your bet out of trouble. So, but yeah, that's beginning to get, that has gotten contentious. That's a contentious statement. You will only talk to my attorney. Which is
Yeah,
good.
Any
It doesn't have to
questions,
be
any more
contentious.
questions, requests need to go to the attorney, is what he
It
said.
doesn't have to be a contentious situation. I mean, if he doesn't understand, that's one thing, and that could be a 3-way conversation and in writing with all 3 of you so that he has an understanding and everybody knows what, you know, his understanding is for the process, but it should not be a contentious situation. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, saying talk to my attorneys, I'm sorry, because I've worked in the field for so long. rings a, hot button bell for me that something's wrong, and talk to my attorney is like a threat, like, okay, if you don't like it, talk to my, it's like, I'll talk to whoever you need me to. That doesn't bother me. It's like, because
Right.
if you don't understand why this is important or needs to happen in this process, or something else is going on that they just don't want to divulge at this time. And I've had it happen in my space pre-COVID. Someone was getting wishy-washy with the funds and when's it's coming and how's it coming, and then all of a sudden, called my broker and I don't like this, and I'm like, I don't care. I tell them they can come out of my contract anytime they want. But she was hiding something with her finances. That's all it came down to.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
okay,
well,
I
like
didn't
I
know something else.
like I tried to tell him, I said, the contract was accepted based on proof of funds. And you
Mhm.
haven't provided it yet.
Right, so that's all he needs to do is provide proof of funds. That's why it's like, it's not a
And-
contentious space
and-
where he should be elevating to an attorney.
And
So-
that's when he said, it's not in the contract that I have to do this.
Yes, it is. He's already,
Yes.
signed. I know you get it, Kathy, and I do too, but the thing is,
Right.
the fact that he
Yeah.
isn't tells me something's not right. He's.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what, and I reached out to Tom before this, because when it was about the IRA, and I had asked him about getting on a call, because he'd sent me this letter and it came through with all these blanks. Like if I were to spell my name, Kathy, the T would be missing. The space would be there, but the T would be missing. And there was this document was full of that, right? And I went, oh my God, this is not right. Tom said that a lot of times when you get a document like that, it's got issues. And in transferring it over, those things will happen, and it's not uncommon. And he didn't think there was any red flags. But that's when I reached out to the IRA company, the holding, and I said, I need to get a proof of funds. How do I do that? And, I said, this document came through like this, and they suggested that I do a 3-way call. Well, he was opposed to that and said that the funds were already being transferred. It was in process going to the bank. So everything that I brought up with those funds have been red flags.
I've had a lot of situations prior, when I was active in real estate, with what we called it pillowcase money. Because in Washington State back then, we had a huge influx of different cultures. Specifically, Korean was really good for pillowcase money. I had a guy from France that literally brought a suitcase of cash. And it was an interesting line to talk with people about how what we had to do when we had pillowcase money. So I understand that sometimes people, and then we had, illegal immigrants, or whatever they're supposed to be called nowadays. I don't know what the political term is, but whatever.
Undocumented.
Pardon me?
Undocumented.
Undocumented, yes, but undocumented peoples, lots of them. And so I had a lot of situations like that where that's just what we were dealing with. So I understand trying to bridge another culture, especially as as white as you can get, white girl that was wearing a suit. And you know what I mean? I don't want, I couldn't be the big bad authority, which I don't like that anyway, but I still had to get that point across. So I understand the uneasiness and trying to bridge cross culture and deal with pillowcase money and those kinds of things. And then there's that crossover to like you said, with the red flag situation, where it's like, this is getting problematic. And this is a phone call to the broker on how I deal with this. So I get it. And it's a fine dance and all that. Bottom line for me is get your butt into the broker and do what the broker says to do and how to handle that situation. Because I want your butt protected and safe as you're moving through this with a person that sounds like you have some of this going on.
Yeah,
of a
and
sudden,
I'm just gonna put a point on that, because Gina's right, and that's the experience everywhere, is that people, are here, and money flows differently everywhere else, or their practices are different everywhere. That's a given, and that's something that is gonna always be out there. And I'm not saying that, you know, draw the bright line because of this, but you're being paid a service to get them through a process. And part of it is compliance. And this is a compliance issue to get them through their process and through the transaction. And they, although they may not like the aspects of the process or what's being asked for them at different junctures, this is what it is. And so when I say draw the bright line, that's your kind of, you know, gut measure in terms of how much energy do you have to keep doing this with this person. They're being resistant on just customary things. And you would know that based on your experience with them. But our job is to get them through, you know, compliantly and get them through the process, because it is a different process for whoever goes through it. It's different for anyone who goes through it and their experience is there. So I'm not devaluing their experience with finances and money in other countries, but corporations, I mean, Volkswagen used to do this all the time. Oh, we have to do this. We didn't know we have to do this. Really? Because you worked in this country since 1955. So for you to say in 2000 and whatever, oh, we didn't know we had to do this with the courts, and we didn't know if we, yes, you did. You just try to hide behind the, we don't operate in your country normally, so we should
Yeah,
have to
well,
be.
I can't
apply to us.
even say that this is a cultural issue. This is
Alright.
not a cultural issue.
Okay, then
From any indication that I have. I haven't met them in person, but it doesn't appear to be that.
well, talk to your broker, like Gina said, your duty is to get them through the process compliantly and, you know, in the best fashion that you've been trained to do ethically. And, you know, this just has compliance bells and whistles going off for me. Something's not right.
Well, that's,
If
Your
you
energy level is your energy level, but I'm already done hearing the story. I'm just saying, mine's really a lot lower. So I'm already done. Just-
Yeah, if you decide to continue through it with it or not. And then again, that's a line that you have to figure out if, where and when, if you ever decide you want to fire somebody, that's your line to take. Nobody else can tell you that. I mean, your broker, listen to your broker, if your broker says fire. But I've fired a couple of clients before, and I can't tell you exactly when to fire a client, but I can tell you when your brain shifts over from, this is so cool, I'm helping somebody and it's a win-win, and you know, they're gonna get their house and I'm gonna get paid and I get to help, and it's there's a win-win mentality about it. When it shifts to a, if I back out now, I have spent too much time and energy and I will lose. So I can't back out. As soon as I hit that mindset, I'm not saying that's the time to fire the person. I'm saying at that point, they're walking on some really thin ice. And I
Right.
mean, and that's not to say that I don't go through problems, and I praise God on a regular basis. The reason why I'm in real estate is because the transaction is only 30 days long. Thank you. Because some people I can only deal with for 30 days. So it's not that. It really is when I go from a win-win mentality to, if I stop, I'll lose too much. And then I know it's thin ice. And I've only fired 2 people that I can think of off the top of my head in real estate. That I fired a couple of people in coaching. But in real estate, I think I've only fired 2, but I've had a lot of people get to that really thin line where I just sit back and I just start watching everything they do. And then everything they do, I'm weighing it. Is this the line? Is this the line? Is this
do
the
you
line?
ever do that when they're under contract already?
Oh yeah, I've fired people under contract.
I mean, I don't think that I'm there. I am going to be cautious. Yes.
Yeah,
No
just
question.
watch.
But this is it's a very simple thing. It's raw land. All they have to do is provide proof of funds and have the soil test.
Yeah,
That's it.
again, not,
Mine was-
yeah, not saying
mine-
that's where you want to go. Just be aware of that in the back of your head, that
Oh,
nobody can tell you till you, except for your broker. Your broker says fire somebody, fire up. But other than that, that's your decision you get to make if you ever want to.
Right. Okay.
Kathy, mine had put in 2 offers. Mine had put in an offer and to purchase, and you know, it was a great offer. It was a competitive offer, and then she's like decided like, I don't think I want to go through it. And I'm like, okay, I don't know she lost the offer out of highest and best use. She didn't put in her highest and best use because she chose not to.
Right.
And then wanted to keep looking. And we did another go around, and it was the second go around. She kept getting twitchy with the fun stuff. I'm like, I don't know what is happening there. And the lender was just, the lender was telling me, she's like, we still need verification on X, Y, and Z, but if we get it, we'll be good. And then I just finally came to the point of just kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. But after talking to the lender and, you know, having that experience with her, I said, we're only looking at 6 more houses, and then, you know, we need to make a decision. And we mutually decided to fire each other, because I'm like, I'm not I'm just not sure what's going on, but it just didn't smell right.
Right, right. Well, I've got that part going on. It doesn't feel right to me. And I don't know why. But I do feel like he's avoiding stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
they'll find somebody else to work them through a transaction if they want it. If he wants this one bad enough, he'll get to business, he'll get down to brass tacks and knuckles right now and do what he needs to do. Otherwise, he doesn't want it that bad. He's playing a game. Something's going on. He's playing a game. in
Or
my
he's
gut.
afraid, or there's something there that he did, or, I don't know,
Yeah.
there's something though, but listen to your gut, there's something in there. Go to your broker. Just
Yeah.
pop in your broker.
I
And
will
then for
pop into the
postcards,
purpose.
I wouldn't, if it were me and I was going on vacation tomorrow and you don't have a signed listing with a signed date, I wouldn't really worry about the postcards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like I said, it was just a thought that popped in while we were on the call.
Yep. If I wanted to do something fun postcard wise and I had something signed and I wanted to send something off, but I didn't have a date for that, I might send a, hey, your chance to see when your neighbor's houses is coming up soon. Stay tuned. I might send something like that out.
Yeah,
But
and that's
I
kind
would-
of,
Yeah.
that's all. I mean, I wasn't going to do anything in depth,
Yep.
not at all. Anyway,
Yep. Have a good time on your vacation.
thank you.
Enjoy the Grand Canyon and all things Phoenix. And know that if you're starting in Phoenix and you're ending up at the Grand Canyon, you're going to hit every bit of weather all the way through. Because it's going to be hot, 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 and not.
Yeah, packing is kind of interesting.
Try packing for a cross country where you're going to Hawaii after it's all done and you're like, okay, and you get one suitcase. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, all right, y'all have a really, really, really good day. Today is Thursday, so sure happy it's Thursday, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.